Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Adela Flores-Brennan. I'm speaking to you from the west steps of the Capitol here in Denver. I'm from the Colorado Consumer Health Initiative, and we are here today to demand accountability and transparency for drug pricing and to support Senate Bill 175, which will create a Prescription Drug Affordability Board. We want to thank everybody for being here, for tuning in on Facebook Live to watch our rally, to participate with us and share stories. You know, as a mom with a kiddo with allergies and chronic asthma, I know how stressful it can be to show up at the pharmacy with a kid who's suffering from COVID and being told that our prescription inhaler is now 10 times higher than it was the last time we filled the prescription. I also know how just stressful it is as a person newly diagnosed with a chronic condition, how stressful it is to just be managing all of the medications, to say nothing of how much they cost, just knowing which ones you're going to take and whether they're going to work. So I really appreciate our legislators being here today. We have 3 of our 4 bill sponsors here to talk in support of the bill. But first I'm going to hand it over to Isabel Cruz, who is our policy manager, to tell you a little bit about Senate Bill 175.
Woo. Thank you everybody so much for being here. Thanks to you all who are here with us in spirit / on our Facebook Live. So I am really excited to be here on a day that should be a momentous next step in our exciting bill, SB 21-175, to create a Prescription Drug Affordability Board here in Colorado that will have the power to investigate, review, and for the most unaffordable drugs in Colorado, establish a more affordable cost for these medications. And I am so thrilled about our fearless sponsors, Senator Jaques Lewis, who's here with us, Senator Gonzalez, who couldn't join us but is on the floor or chairing, and our amazing House sponsors who are taking up this leg of the fight, Representative Caraveo and Representative Kennedy. So just to tell you a little bit about what this bill will do is it will be a panel of 5 experts in clinical medicine and the pricing of pharmaceuticals who will be able to really dive into the issues around the skyrocketing costs of prescription drugs and be able to take action to bring down those costs for Colorado and bring us more transparency to be able to take further steps to address this pressing issue. We know that nearly 1 in 3 Coloradans struggle every day with the cost of their prescriptions and that this has only gotten worse in COVID. And you're gonna hear a little bit more about that throughout our program, but I wanna turn it over to our amazing sponsors to tell us a little bit about why they are going to bat for us against well-funded interests in support of this bill. So I'll start off with our Senate sponsor, Senator Jaques Lewis.
Thank you, Isabel. Hey everybody, it's so great to be here. We've passed the first big leg, getting through the Senate, and now I know we're gonna take it over the next hurdle in the House with Representative Kennedy and Representative Caraveo. You know, I have spent my entire career as a pharmacist trying to figure out ways to reduce costs for my patients, and now we have it. We have the first big, after 6 years of trying for a prescription drug transparency bill, we now have not only transparency in this Prescription Affordability Board bill, but we also have the mechanism to truly make prescriptions affordable for all Coloradans. When I did the first draft of the PDAB bill back in the fall of 2019, there were only 2 other states looking at this. Now we have 10 states that are working on PDAB with the upper payment limit, which is really important to our legislation, and we have 17 other states looking at doing this same method. Now this is not a new method. Other countries do this. We are one of only 2 countries that don't have a mechanism of evaluating drugs and making them affordable. Now we can join the ranks of all those other countries. And the other thing that I'm really proud of is prescription drug access is a moral issue. If we don't do this, we're hurting so many communities that have already been hurt by the COVID pandemic. The COVID pandemic has shone a light onto our BIPOC communities, all of our communities that are disadvantaged, our communities of color, they are really struggling paying for prescription drugs, and this bill is going to help a lot of those folks. So I just want to end by saying Coloradans are with us on this legislation. We know that over 70% of Coloradans support this concept, and we're going to get it done. A huge thank you to CCHI, all the volunteers, all the folks out there who have written letters and contacted legislators. Your work is half done. We got to stay on it. So it's my great honor to introduce my co-prime on this, Representative Chris Kennedy.
Thank you, Senator Hawkes-Lewis, for doing the lion's share of the work. The first chamber is always the hardest, so we're grateful for your work that has set us up for success in the House. You know, there's no doubt that these prescription drugs are necessary, right? You know, I have a cousin with multiple sclerosis who needs these, and I've seen both the way that these drugs have helped him, but also the cost it has put on his family. I grew up with some close friends of the family who had cystic fibrosis, and some of the drugs that have been developed just in the last 15 years have radically transformed their lives, including increasing their life expectancy. And one of these friends we never thought was going to be able to have kids. Just a few years ago, she had twins, and the whole family is happy and healthy. So there's no denying that these drugs are incredibly important to these families. But here's the problem. That doesn't give the pharmaceutical manufacturers license to charge whatever they want. To give an example, on these cystic fibrosis drugs, the bulk of the research that funded some of the most innovative drugs in this field were done by the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation through private fundraising and nonprofits that worked on this. When the drug was then bought by a pharmaceutical manufacturer, the price was jacked up such that it now costs $294,000 a year. No family can afford that, and even if the family only has to pay a portion of that before they hit their out-of-pocket maximum, the rest of that cost is passed along to every ratepayer in Colorado and sometimes the state Medicaid system. This is not the right way to do business, and it is only reasonable for us to put limits on what they can charge so that the customers in Colorado can get the drugs they need at a cost they can actually afford. With that, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague in the House, Representative Caraveo.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook today, and those who are in person, and thank you so much to Senators Gonzalez and Hawkes-Lewis and to Representative Kennedy for all the work that they've done in the realm of healthcare and around this bill. You know, as a pediatrician, I make medical decisions for patients every single day, and those really should be based on my training and on their medical information. But more and more often recently, I have to make decisions based on what the amount is that their treatment is going to cost. And that is not the way that I should be making decisions as a doctor. It ranges from life-changing medications, like the ADHD medicines that I use for kids so that they can focus in school. It can go to life-saving medications like asthma inhalers, where I have to make a different decision on what medication I would use at least once a week based on what their insurance is able to pay for it or what a patient is able to pay out of pocket. And even run-of-the-mill prescriptions like an eye antibiotic for pink eye. Doctors spend hours and hours every week changing their medical decisions so that their patients can afford their prescriptions. And as we heard earlier, 1 in 3 Coloradans faces this very same dilemma. They have to decide, should I ration my medicine? Should I cut my pills? Should I not take it at all and not follow my doctor's advice simply because of the cost of medication? And then I go home and turn on the TV and see that we're one of 2 countries that allows direct-to-consumer advertising in the United States, where drug companies push very expensive medications that they've often played games with the patents to extend it so that they can charge these high prices for even longer. We're one of 2 countries that allows this, and they spend $6 billion advertising to us every year. This is not how medicine should go. We as doctors should not have to base our medical decisions on a price tag rather than medicine. And so with this bill, we will be changing that and giving the power back to doctors and patients and taking it away from pharma. Thank you.
So thank you so much to all of our sponsors for your championship of this issue. and for guiding it through the process. We will be up in committee this afternoon, probably around 3 p.m., I believe, in the House Health Committee. So you can still, I think, sign up to testify online or submit testimony, written testimony, or come on down and sign up to testify in person. Speaking of testifying in person, we do have a consumer here with us today to share her story. Amy Millenseifer is from Denver, Colorado.
Hi everybody, my name's Amy Millenseifer. I'm a Colorado native. I've lived in Denver my entire life. Can you hear me now? Yeah. My name is Amy Millenseifer. I'm a Colorado native. I've lived in Denver my entire life. I received my Bachelor of Science in Accounting from CU Denver, and I'm self-employed, so I pay for my own health insurance. The rising cost of living in my city, paired with sky-high medical bills, insurance premiums, and prescription costs, causes worry that I will soon be unable to afford to live in Colorado or afford medical costs. The state my family has called home for over 100 years. I was diagnosed with a gastrointestinal ailment in the last few months after being chronically ill for 3 years. I was told by my specialist that the insurance company would not allow her to prescribe the approved and proven brand name antibiotic costing $2,700 for a 2-week supply, which I would possibly need multiple doses of. Instead, the doctor recommended I take multiple unproven tests that would have cost me thousands of dollars. I eventually obtained this medicine, generic, from a Canadian pharmacy for $89, including shipping, which I find is appalling. All this bureaucracy has delayed my healing. You would think paying $840 in monthly premiums would cover the cost of the medicine I need to heal. I'm tired of insurance companies deciding what medicines I'm allowed to take based on cost instead of what will heal me. I'm considering not carrying health insurance in the future, as by the time I reach the age for Medicare, if it's still even available, I will have spent over $180,000 in just 9 years. The original ACA Affordable Care Act, the way it was written, was fantastic. It could have done so much, but it was gutted by lobbyists, corporations, and our leaders. That scared me. Coloradans need access to more affordable medicines, allowing doctors to make the decisions for the most appropriate medicine for the patient, not CEOs making $17 million per year of a nonprofit insurance company. Holding pharmaceutical and insurance companies accountable has to happen now, as their idea of self-regulating prescription costs is about their profit and bottom line, rather than having integrity, compassion and doing the right thing. Our U.S. government has delayed these actions for decades at the cost of Americans, their health, and their pocketbooks. I thank you for your time, and I urge the committee and everyone to vote yes on Senate Bill 175. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Your story really helps paint the picture that so many people are experiencing with the cost of drugs. We do need to bring healthcare back to the people, not to the corporations that are running the healthcare system right now. So I want to thank everybody for coming. If you want to reach out to the Colorado Consumer Health Initiative and share your story, we can also connect you to your legislator or the media to talk about your prescription drug affordability concerns. We'd love to have you share your